Okay, so you know how sometimes you get a bill and it's like way overdue and you just keep putting off making that call because it's going to be awkward?
Oh,
And
yeah.
like nobody wants to have that conversation.
Right.
So that's what we're diving into today.
Debt collection,
We're talking all about debt collection phone calls.
which is something I think we've all been on one side over the other.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Probably both.
And it can be so uncomfortable,
Yes.
whether you're the one making the call or the one getting it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to try to like give everybody some tools
Yes.
to make that whole process a little bit less painful.
Yes. And we're actually looking at a book today that's called Debt Collection Phone Calls.
Okay.
It's by Michael Todd.
Catchy.
It is catchy, and it really like digs into the nitty-gritty of how to have these conversations effectively
Okay.
and make them less painful for everyone.
Well, that's good because I was just thinking, if we're going to be talking about this awkward thing, at least let's make it a little less awkward.
Exactly. And he actually even gives scripts that you can use.
Oh, get out.
Wait, dude.
So he tells you exactly what to say?
He does.
Yeah, sign me up.
He talks a lot about mindset,
Okay.
which I think is so important
Interesting.
because the way that you approach the conversation
Yeah.
can really change how it goes.
Totally. Like if you go into it
Yes.
already like angry,
Right.
it's going to go way worse than if you go in a
Wait.
little bit more understanding.
He calls it assume innocence,
Okay.
which I love.
So what does that mean?
So instead of assuming that the person is trying to screw you over,
Right.
you assume that like they just forgot
Yeah.
or something came up
Yeah.
or the payment's actually on the way.
Right. Or like life happened and
Yeah.
they're not just like trying to be a jerk.
You're on the same team.
Right.
You're not like
Yeah.
attacking them.
Okay. I like that.
And he gives you specific phrases you can use.
Okay. Like what?
So instead of saying like, where's my payment?
Right.
You could say something like,
Yeah.
has that payment been sent or is it on the way?
Oh, that's so much better. Because it's like reminding them,
Yes.
but not
It doesn't feel
in an accusatory way.
your confrontation.
It feels like we're on the same team here.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it.
So it's just a subtle shift, but it can make a big difference.
Okay, so it's not just what you say, it's how you say it
Exactly.
and how you're thinking about it.
Yes, and he actually,
That's huge.
it is huge.
It's all psychology.
It is all psychology.
It's blowing my mind.
He has a whole section on language too.
Okay.
Like the actual words that you use and how
Yeah.
they can impact
Yeah.
the conversation.
Because even like the way you phrase things
Yes.
can either escalate or de-escalate.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys.
And he even talks about
Yeah.
words that seem really small and insignificant
Okay.
that can actually like undermine your whole message.
Give me an example. I love when you do that.
Okay, so he talks about the word just
Just. Yeah.
and how we tend to use it
Yeah.
in a way that minimizes what we're saying.
Oh.
Like, I'm just calling to ask about your account.
Oh my gosh, I say that all the time.
I know.
And I never even thought twice about it.
But when you really listen to it,
It does sound kind of like,
yeah.
oh, sorry to bother you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're downplaying
Yeah.
the reason that you're calling.
Oh, okay.
So instead of saying,
what should we say instead?
instead of, I'm just calling about your account,
Hmm.
you could say, I'm calling to inquire about your account.
Okay.
It sounds much more professional.
It does.
Right.
It's like I'm here for business.
Yes.
Not just to like
Okay.
chit chat.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a small change.
But it's huge.
It can make a big difference.
Okay. Just is out.
Out.
I'm never saying that word again.
There you go.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm learning so much already.
Good.
This is great. Okay, so we were talking about like how powerful language is in these situations. Like one word can totally change the whole dynamic.
Absolutely. And it's especially important when you're negotiating.
Oh yeah, that's like next level awkwardness.
Right. But it doesn't have to be.
Okay. I'm listening.
So there's this great example in the book
Okay.
where someone says they can't pay the full amount.
Ugh, I've been there.
Right. And he gives you like a little test.
Okay.
He says, okay, what's the best way to respond?
Ooh, I like this.
And most people would probably say something like,
Yeah.
well, how much can you pay then?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Right. Because you're trying to be like reasonable.
Yeah, like let's work something out.
Exactly.
If
But he says that actually puts you at a disadvantage.
really. So
Because you're letting them control the negotiation.
oh, I see what you mean.
Like they get to dictate the terms.
It's like they're already in a position of power,
Exactly.
even though like technically I'm the one who's owed money.
Right. You're the one calling the shots.
Okay. So what do you say instead?
So instead of asking how much they can pay,
Yeah.
he says you should ask, how much short are you?
Oh, wow. It's subtle, but it's like a totally different energy.
It shifts the focus.
It's like you're not giving them a blank slate
exactly
to just throw out any number.
You're making them justify the difference.
Right. It's like, okay, you're short.
Right.
But like, how short are we talking here?
That's the thing.
That's good.
It's all about framing.
Yeah, I'm like taking notes over here.
Good. This is gold.
I know, right? So we've talked about mindset. We've talked about language.
Mm-hmm.
What about those people who are just like difficult no matter what?
Oh, yeah. He talks about that too.
Okay, good.
He has this technique called stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I like go confront them in person?
No.
Okay, because I was going to say.
You can do this on the phone.
Okay.
So the idea is that even though they can't see you,
Right.
your body language still affects how you sound.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're like slouching and feeling all timid,
Yeah.
it's going to come across in your voice.
Oh, that's so true.
But if you stand up
Okay.
and like move around, even use your hands.
Wait, are you serious?
Serious.
Like, even though they can't see me?
Yes. It tricks your brain
Wow.
into feeling more confident.
Okay, that's actually kind of brilliant. I would never have thought of that.
It works.
Okay. I'm trying that next time I have a tough conversation.
Do it.
But sometimes it's like, it's
Yeah.
not even about the money, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, sometimes it's more about just
yeah.
getting information.
He talks about that too.
Oh,
He
really?
calls it the can you help approach.
Okay.
So instead of going in like guns blazing,
Yeah.
demanding payment,
Yeah.
you try to figure out what's going on.
Like, what's the reason behind the reason?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because maybe there's a simple explanation.
Yeah, like maybe they just forgot.
Or maybe the invoice got lost in the mail.
Right, or like their dog ate it.
Exactly.
Oh.
So instead of accusing them,
Yeah.
you come from a place of curiosity.
Okay.
Like, hey, can you help me understand what's going on here?
It's like we're on the same team again.
Exactly.
Instead of like me versus you.
Yes. And that makes them much more likely to open up.
That makes sense.
Right. Because nobody wants to feel attacked.
Holy.
So if you approach it with empathy,
Mm-hmm.
you're more likely to get to the bottom of it.
And then actually solve the problem.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Good.
So we've covered like what to do when you're actually talking to the person.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those times when you can't get a hold of them
Yes.
and you have to leave a voicemail?
He has a whole section on voicemails.
Okay, good, because
Okay.
I'm like the queen of rambling voicemails.
Right.
Like I just start talking and hope for the best.
He actually has a rule about that.
Okay, I'm scared.
2 messages, no more.
Wait, what? Only 2?
2 and done.
I usually leave like 5 before I give up.
Yeah. He says that's way too many.
Really?
It can actually backfire.
How so?
Because it starts to feel like harassment.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Even if you're not trying to be annoying,
Right.
it can be overwhelming.
Okay, so 2 messages max.
Yeah, 2 and.
2 and done.
What do those messages sound like?
Okay, so the first one
Yeah.
should be short and sweet.
Okay.
Just state your name, the reason for your call, and a number to call back.
Got it.
And then if you don't hear back,
Okay.
the second message,
Yeah.
you acknowledge that you called before,
Okay.
and then you offer an alternative way to get in touch.
Oh, like an email address.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're showing that you're persistent,
Yes,
but not like a stalker.
exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a fine line.
It really is, but you can do it.
Okay. This is all good stuff.
Good, I'm glad.
So what about those people who, like, never check their voicemail?
Oh, yeah, the expert dodgers.
Yes.
He has a solution for that, too.
Okay, tell me.
Voice memos.
Voice memos.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that.
They're harder to ignore than a text,
That's true.
and they feel more personal.
Okay.
So you can convey your tone better.
I can see how that would be really effective.
Right.
Especially for someone who's, like, screening calls and avoiding talking on the phone.
And he even suggests using a little cliffhanger.
Ooh. Tell me more.
He calls it the curiosity gap,
Okay.
where you end the message
Yeah.
mid-sentence.
Oh, my God.
Like you have something important to say.
So they have to call you back.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
Right.
Okay. I'm using that one.
I love it.
This is great stuff. I'm feeling like way more prepared to deal with these situations now.
That's what we like to hear.
Like before, it's just like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't happen.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, I've got some tools in my back pocket.
Exactly. You're more in control.
Yes. And it's like not about being aggressive or anything.
No,
It's just about like being fair.
It's about being assertive
Yes.
and knowing your rights.
Exactly. And like advocating for yourself.
Exactly. And sometimes advocating for yourself means knowing when to say no.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he actually talks about that in the book.
Okay.
Like, sometimes you have to be able to walk away.
Even if you haven't like gotten the money yet.
Right, because sometimes it's just not worth your time and energy.
Okay, that's a good point.
Like, you could be doing all the right things,
Yeah.
following all the scripts.
Right.
But if the other person is just not budging,
Right.
then it might be time to cut your losses.
So how do you know when you're at that point?
It's a gut feeling,
Okay.
but he also gives some signs to look out for.
Like what?
So, like, if they're consistently breaking promises,
Okay, yeah, that's not good.
or if they're just giving you the runaround,
Right, right.
those are signs that it might be time to escalate things.
So, like, involve a third party.
Exactly, like a mediator or even an attorney.
Okay, so this book isn't just about, like, how to have the conversations.
Right.
It's also about knowing when it's time to, like,
To take the next step.
yeah, bring in the big guns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what it takes.
Okay. This has been so helpful.
I'm glad.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Good. I hope it makes those conversations a little bit less daunting.
Way less daunting. I'm actually feeling kind of empowered.
That's the goal.
It's like knowledge is power or something.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for this deep dive.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It's been great. And to all of you listening out there,
Yes.
next time you're facing down a debt collection call, remember what we've learned. Assume innocence.
Yes.
Choose your words carefully.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to stand up for yourself.
You got this.
Until next time, everybody happy communicating.